Howdy, it's Big Dave. I'm your host today for Sitting on the Toilet. Howdy and welcome to Sitting on the Toilet. I'm your host here, Big Dave, and I'm ready to do some rambling. Today we'll be diving into a topic that's a little controversial. I'm from the U.S. and gun laws are always popping on the news. I personally stand with the Second Amendment. I'm for the right to own guns, but I mean, we're all human beings. I think anyone with the sane thinking head, seeing innocent people being shot down, that something needs done. What needs to be done, I can't say for sure. I'm not a politician. I'm not gearing my life in that direction to go out and be able to change laws and have that kind of impact. I'm just your simple American with their simple thoughts. But my problem with the thought of outlawing all guns is I think it is a gun problem to a point, but you can't just point at one thing causing a problem and that be the sole poison of the lake. Mass shootings, especially in schools, is a new thing we've seen in the U.S. The first one popped up 97, 98 with the Columbine shooting, which was only 21 years ago. Not that long ago. It has been some time, and it seems like, especially right now, they've been becoming more and more common, where you have a lone gunman going out, taking a bunch of innocent people's lives. And my personal thought on this, and this is just me ranting, if you disagree, you know, this is a free country, you're allowed to do that, there ain't nothing wrong. Like I said, I don't plan on being a politician, so my ideas are just my ideas. They're just something to chew on. But what I think is the big problem with these shootings has to be blamed mostly on the media and social networking. In the past, you could have someone, and I honestly believe anyone that would take an innocent life for no good reason, you can't be sane. You gotta be fucking crazy. There ain't no sane person will decide to one day take out a submachine gun and kill 25, 50, 80 people. No sane thinking person does that. So you start off with a mental problem, and you might have these kind of thoughts, you might have these depression episodes, you might want to take your own life or other lives, you might have this hate for humanity, because people do give themselves too much credit than we deserve. At the end of the day, we're just animals, and we're not as smart as we think we are. And people are mean. And there's plenty of people out there that truly hate people. They want nothing to do with others. So you get that, and by themselves, 99% chance they ain't gonna do no harm. But in today's world, you're able to go online, go on forums, find these communities where you would have never even met these people, because these people with this train of thought are so spread out and it's such a small population. But now that they can go online and joke about this stuff, talk about this stuff, share the recent news events that could have to do with chaos and anarchy, people killing each other, ruining towns, burning buildings, and it almost starts to fetishize in their mind. And now that they're in a community, it almost becomes normalized to them. So over time, they might start out as a person where these thoughts might pop in their head every now and then, but they never seriously think about acting on it. But now that they're in this community where they might feel like, and these other people might just doing it for shits and giggles. You know, I think my generation, we have a dark sense of humor, and I appreciate dark sense of humor. But a lot of them could honestly just be joking and might not mean a thing by joking around saying they're going to bring a gun to school or something. Or the next person that gives them the swirly, they're going to be putting bombs in the next toilet they sit on. You never know. But most of the time they're not serious. But you have someone with these mental issues who's already having these dark thoughts, and now it becomes normalized. They start thinking there's others out there that think like they do, and they're no longer a black sheep. Or they might be a black sheep, but they now feel even more special because they have a herd to go with. And once they actually pull it off, you know, with school shootings, any mass shooting, the Las Vegas shooting, they plaster those faces, they plaster the name. It's the only thing you'll be seeing for the next month. And this has been talked before, but it's almost like the media parades them around as heroes. And I do think it's important, you know, the public's going to want to know the face and everything. I personally wish they did everything after a trial's held and they are convicted and are said if they're guilty or not guilty. But of course, trials take forever. It could be years before a decision like that goes through the line. And that's just red tape in the government. A democracy, it acts slow. In order to make sure it's done right, it needs time. So to make the public wait that long, and with the internet, you know, fads come in and out so fast. But it also can do damage. If they were to choose the wrong person, it can really affect that person's life. They never did any wrong, and now people think they planted bombs, killed a whole bunch of people. You know, that's going to affect your image. People will remember that. Especially these rape allegations and abuse allegations. They're awful things people do, but there's awful people out there that use these things to gain, to earn something out of it, even though no wrong was done for them. And so I think the media needs to be held to some kind of accountability. I have no problem with them showing the faces, but it shouldn't be shown off like that. You know, just throw it up there for a few seconds and then talk about what happened, talk about the victims, talk about how it hurt the community. But don't be going on a whole month on showing the mother and father. Of course, the mother and father, they're not going to see what's wrong. That's their kid. And people act different in different social bubbles. So what their kid might be acting around the parents, they might be this real nice stand-up kid, and that might be what the parents and the teachers are seeing. What they aren't seeing is in the background, the kid's beating the shit out of him until one day he brings a gun and shoots up the school. And one thing that annoys me about my generation, it seems like we're so... I don't really know it's my generation. I'm pretty left on the political spectrum, but I grew up in a liberal town. Growing up, you know, I always heard kids talking about how we should block free speech in order to protect others, in order to not offend others, so they might not get offended to a point that could cause harm. Which on paper sounds nice. You shouldn't be going around being a dickbag. Whenever, I think it was down in Texas some years ago, they were doing a drawing contest of Muhammad, and it's not right to have any pictures of Muhammad in that religion, but people were doing it basically just to spit on them, and they were doing it like outside of the, you have to excuse my ignorance, but out of the church or synagogue, whatever their temple's called, just to piss people off. And I think there was a shooting that happened and a few people got hurt or killed, but stuff like that I think should be perfectly legal. In a way, we have laws because a small percentage of people can't be trusted, and it's just for the better of society. But I really do think there's a point you just got to draw the line. As a population, we have to take this into humanity's care. We need to bring it into our own hands and try to be better people ourselves. We shouldn't have to have the government, because even if they take away all the guns, where I live, there was a few years back, this kid ran down the hallway of a high school and stabbed a bunch of people with a pair of scissors. So you can outlaw the guns, but people who want to do harm to others, and once they've made up the mind for it, they're gonna. People make pipe bombs and homemade shanks and even pistols in prison with limited resources. How can we expect to do that with people just walking around everyday life? You can't have a safety net everywhere you go. The world is hard and it's harsh, and it's not right to see it's just not right to see innocent people getting killed for nothing. You only have one life and you gotta live it. And especially to see someone so young pass away, it's awful. But I really don't think outlawing guns is the end of it. Now, I personally, would I be upset if full automatic high magazine capacity, stuff like that was banned, I would be upset. But as long as I have my pistol, as long as I'm able to have a shotgun and a rifle, I'll be okay. I'll be a little upset I ain't gonna be able to shoot an AK-47. Because the only reason to own a gun like that, and there ain't nothing wrong with it, but it's only to have fun. You ain't using that gun to hunt, you're using it to have fun. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. There ain't nothing wrong with saying you like to shoot for fun. But come on, you ain't using no AK-47 for home protection. If you want home protection, you need to get yourself a handgun or something small that you can maneuver around your house. And usually not something with such a high caliber, like even a 9mm 22 will work. Because you want to be able to have that mobility. And if you're protecting your house, you don't want nothing crazy, loud, with high recoil going off. But yeah, this has been another episode of Sitting on the Toilet. Thank you for sitting here patiently listening to my rant. I hope to hear your views and opinions on this. I could be completely wrong with my train of thought, but I do feel like it's almost like an inner circle, almost like a cult-like thing that happens online where people get into these groups and talk. And I don't think anything like that should be illegal. I don't think making threats and threatening someone's life and safety, that's illegal. But just joking and saying awful things, that's protected by the First Amendment. Freedom of speech is one of the greatest things we have on this earth. It's the reason I'm able to go into my bathroom and think whatever I want. It's the reason why we're allowed to say Trump bad, or even when Obama was in office, all the Trump supporters, it's the reason why they were allowed to say that Obama was bad. If we try to protect free speech, it could be a slippery slope, and it could get to a point where even bad-mouthing your president, your governor, people of office, the police, could get you arrested. And I just don't want to see this country go down that road. But at the same time, about the Second Amendment and protecting the right to bear arms, I'm all for protecting the right to bear arms, but at the same time, I get so annoyed that every time there's a school shooting, there's talk. There's talk about regulating the process of owning a gun. There's talk about making it more stricter on the mental health in order to own a gun. But it seems like nothing ever actually happens, and we only talk about what we can do about restricting the access to guns. And I really think that's only a bit of the puzzle. We really need to be talking about mental health and teaching these kids at a young age not to hate, to let bygones be bygones. That this is a world where if someone says something to you, they're another human being. But it don't mean shit to you, because the only thing you got to worry about is yourself, and you're number one. If someone comes up to me and starts talking shit to me, it's in one ear and out the other. Why the hell am I going to give some shit that someone walked up to me and starts cussing at me? But I mean, like, why care? If someone was to come up to me and just start rambling on, cussing me out, talking shit to me, I ain't gonna care. Even if I knew who they were. So that too, like if you don't even know who they are, if it's over the internet, if it's just some bully at school, why the fuck do you care about something that someone else has to say that you barely know? I mean, you can say anything you want in this world, but you're smart enough you don't, and they have the same right, and they're just running their mouth a little too much. And even if it's someone you know, unless it's someone close to you where you care about their relationship, I can understand that actually hurting. But like if you're working, you get a shitty customer and they're just yelling and complaining, there ain't no reason for you to get mad. Just let that go right down your back. Let them get angry. I found in my life, if you just keep a smile and act pleasant while someone's angry with you, they just get more pissed off. And it just makes me more happy to see them getting more pissed off, because it lets me know that I'm winning. The minute you show your emotions, you lost. So you gotta just remain calm, love thy neighbor, and not jump on this media swirl and this witch hunting we do.